What's up, everybody? It's your boy Al.
And I'm Erica.
And today on the Alan and Erica show, we're going to talk about finances.
Yep, everybody says before you get married, your finances should be in order.
That's right, that money, y'all. You want to talk about it?
Let's talk about it.
It's time to settle down.
Everybody gather round.
Alan and Erica show. We gon' talk about it.
So let's talk about it.
Alan and Erica show. Conversations matter, mixed with love and laughter. Alan and Erica show. We gon' talk about it.
So let's talk about it.
Alan and Erica. Alan and Erica. Alan and Erica. The show.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey. It's an open, not a song.
What? That's what I do.
All right, everybody. So, like we said, today's topic is finances.
Finances, money, that dollar green, y'all.
That's right. So, word on the curve is before you get into a serious relationship or even before you get married, that your finances have to be in order.
Mm-hmm.
Ours wasn't.
Yeah, I ain't gonna front. My credit score was like at 6 something.
Not quite.
I mean, it was it was somewhere around there, but I mean, right now I'm in 800 club.
There you go.
And
Wow.
thanks to her, because she got my credit in order, man. So let's talk about credit, man. Like, how do you establish credit? How do you get credit?
Well, funny you should ask. For me, I started from a point of privilege, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Grew up in a household, finances was talked about a lot.
Right.
And so my parents made sure that I was set up financially before I even got started as an adult.
Wow.
One, they purchased my first car. But instead of purchasing it right out, they financed like $1,000. They took $1,000 and split it up between 12 payments just so that I could have an established credit.
Wow.
They put the car in my name and they made those payments every month. So that already started me out in the 800 Club.
Wow.
Then
How
they
old were
made
you? Hold on.
sure
How old were you?
I was 17.
800 credit score and 17.
Yep, my
I wasn't
first
even
credit.
thinking about credit at 17.
No, my parents were. They were on it. And then I had a credit card
Okay.
that they paid as well. So
Wow.
that was two things that they made sure that they paid on time so that I could start my adulthood with great credit. So that's how I started. Most people don't start there. However, it's important that when you go into relationships, you don't put yourself into pigeonholes when it comes to gender roles, right? Because I did that. I grew up in a household where my father took care of the finances. So in my first marriage, I immediately took my finances, which were in the 800 Club, mind
Right.
you,
Wow.
and I handed them over to my husband. Not because he had the expertise or the knowledge, just because of gender roles.
Just it wasn't me, just FYI, but go ahead.
Wasn't you. You're
Yeah.
the new and improved.
All right.
No, but seriously. So, I mean, and it's still no dig to him because if you're not set up in life with a great credit score or financial literacy, it's unfair to really dump that on somebody who doesn't understand the process.
Right.
And credit is a process. For us, so the good thing is by the time Al and I got together, my credit wasn't great either. Not anymore. When that first marriage failed, I was left with all other financial responsibilities. I paid everything off by myself.
Wow.
But I was so terrified of credit after that I didn't use it. And the only reason why your score was low is because you didn't use credit.
Yeah, I didn't care nothing about credit at 17. Once again, even at 21, I didn't know the thing about credit. Like I really didn't have nobody to buy me a car when I was 17, or even get a credit card and establish and put it into my name and do all of the things that this privileged woman over here just had the glory of telling y'all. I didn't have that. I was money. Cash, because cash makes things go fast. So
Right.
that was my credit. But just thinking about credit, man, it helps in the long run, because once you start to establish credit, man, you start to get good, better quality of things handed to you as far as like, with the bankings.
Yes.
With buying houses, buying cars.
Whatever loan you want,
Yeah.
it's on the table.
Yeah.
So
Good credit will help you get it.
That's a good slogan. But I just
Good credit
wanted
will
to,
help you get it.
We wanted
Go
to
ahead.
eliminate the myth that we did
Right.
not have it together financially. Now, Alan had owned his business for over 10 years when I met him. And
Right.
being a barber, he got paid by cash only. So he had the money, just not the credit.
No.
For me, I was terrified for credit. And so we were dating. We had now decided that we were going to get married. So our first meeting was with a financial planner.
Right.
Remember?
Yeah.
When we were about to buy the house, the cobblestone.
Yeah, I remember
So
that.
when we sat down with the financial planner, the first thing she said was, guys, I need you to use credit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here we are about to get married. We have the money.
Yeah.
But she said, use credit.
Yeah.
I was terrified.
Yeah.
And that's the first time I heard, in order for you to improve your credit, you have to use it.
Yeah, but see, this is the funny thing about credit. Was when you go to apply for credit, they say you need credit to get credit. And I'm saying, how do you do that?
Yeah.
So, Erica, how do you do that?
Okay, so if you don't have any credit, right? You don't have any experience with a bad loan, or even if you do, one of the credit cards that will give you a chance fresh out the gate is Capital One. Not a great company because they have high APR, but you can start with Capital One. If you get a Capital One credit card, here is the ticket. Do not go crazy. So if they give you a credit limit of $1,000, it doesn't mean that you have $1,000. That is not what that means.
Right.
It means that you have the ability to spend $1,000. But your credit should only be based on what you are allowed to pay back. What can you pay back? So the fastest and quickest way to grow your credit is to use a card like Capital One for gas only. If you know you can afford gas, right? Gas is something that we have to put in our cars every week.
Yep.
You use your credit card for gas, but here is where discipline comes in. You cannot establish good credit without discipline. So if I am going to fill up my car, right? I fill up my car, I'm going to use my Capital One credit card and say the total is $35.79.
Right.
I'm going to put $36 in savings, or I'm going to put it to the side. This is where that discipline
Right.
comes in, because you have to act like that $36 is not there. Okay.
Right.
So every time you spend the credit card using your gas, you're going to put that gas money to the side. When it comes time to pay your bill, you do not pay it off.
No.
Okay. So now you're going to have $36.79. Let's say you do that maybe twice. So now your bill is like $72. You want to pay at least $50 of it. Right. This is where the credit comes in.
Here it comes.
This is where, okay, so now if I loan you this, you pay me back. And the reason why you don't zero it out is because it doesn't show that you have an ongoing relationship. So you don't want to zero it out unless you continue to use the card. So you can pay it off. So let's say the first bill comes is $72. You pay the $72. The only time you can pay your bill off in whole is if you have already used it for another charge. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah. Now, I want to go back to something. I mean, because my wife could be a little loquacious at some times. But listen, I want to go back to high APRs because a lot of people don't know what APR means. So,
fair.
you know.
So the APR is the annual percentage rate. This is what you want to pay attention to, because this is going to add on to what you borrow.
Right.
So if I borrow $25, but my APR is 20%, that means that every time I borrow $25, I'm also borrowing an additional $5.
Right.
Because 20%. So 20% of 25 is what, $250? $250 and $250
Right.
is $5. So for every $25, I am borrowing another $5, right? But the higher that number goes, the higher the APR is. So if I'm borrowing $100, 20% APR is now $20. So I'm borrowing $120. Now it may not seem like a lot, but if I keep borrowing, that 20% adds up.
Right.
So by the time I get to the end of the year, I may have only borrowed really $1,000, but why do I have to pay them back now $1,200?
Yeah.
That's the APR. The APR is like the add-on.
Yeah.
So if you can, when you first start off, you're going to get a high APR card. It is, because the APR speaks to the risk.
Right.
It's like creditors are saying, I don't really know you like that. I don't trust you. So for every $100 you borrow, you're going to owe me 20%.
All right. So
that's
so
the
looking
APR.
Cool. So looking into credit cards, once you start to get your basis of credit cards, and you start to get abundance of them, and you get your Target card or your Gucci card. You get the Gucci card. You get the cards. What APR number should you look for it to be a good APR?
Okay, so that depends on the market. And really, Google is your best friend because you want to Google what is the best APR standard for today.
Okay.
Because that moves the needle. The needle moves every year. So it just depends on your credit score. It's dependent on a lot of things. But ideally, you want an APR that's below 10%.
Okay.
And by the time you get an APR that's below 10%, you are definitely in the 700 club. So how did we build our credit right before we got married? Well, we used it. We used it for everything.
Right.
We used it for our rings. We used it for our gown. We paid cash for his suit. We used it for his Gucci's. We used it for
I would show you all the shoes,
everything. The first car we went out for, yours was Capital One.
Yeah.
Mine was Nordstrom. Okay. So we had to use it. We just used it. And we gave ourselves a year. After we used the credit cards for about a year.
Right.
And we paid on things. It was funny because remember the expert said to us, do not pay your credit bills off.
Don't
and
pay
we were
them
like,
off.
Because we don't like to owe anybody.
Yeah,
but she
yeah.
said, no, it's important to have a rotating balance. And so after we did that for a year, we were already in the 700 club.
Yeah.
Like after 1 year of doing that.
Yeah.
So after the first year of doing that, we were in the 700 club. Now, this is the trick. So the first card for you was Capital One, and then the second card was Citi.
My Citi card.
Now, once you show the
my
credit
Citi card?
world that it's in your wallet, but once you show the credit world,
It's okay. Go ahead.
we'll get to your Gucci card, I promise. Once you show the credit world that you can borrow money and pay back, this is where you're going to get all of the offers.
Right.
Oh my God, you're going to get so many offers. Credit card companies are going to start sending you pre-approvals, low APRs, but you got to read the fine print. More than likely, it will come with an introductory APR.
Wow.
An introductory APR is like, we're going to give you 5%. It's like, oh my God, right? That's lower than that 10% I talked about,
Right.
but it only lasts for your first year. And after that, you got to read the fine print because it may go all the way up to 30%. So once we did that for a year, you got an offer for Citi card.
Yep.
It had a low APR.
Yeah, it was
And
real
so
low
what we
APR.
did was transfer.
Yeah.
You no longer use the Capital One. You started using the Citi card.
Is that when we consolidated?
Nope, not yet.
Not yet. We ain't there yet.
That's layer 3.
All right. I'm keeping up.
But talk about so now he had Capital One,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now he had the Citi card. So what do you do with the Capital One? You don't use it. You don't close it, but you don't use it. It just shows rotating credit. Okay? He's got a credit line open. He's not using it, but
Right.
now we have the Citi card, right?
Yeah.
And what did you use your Citi card for, babe?
Nothing goes bad every time I wear Gucci. I'm getting more every time I wear Gucci. Yeah, I went on a Gucci. I bought so much Gucci because I'm from Philly,
good.
and that's what we wear in Philly. So for me to come from where I grew up at and seeing other guys, the big dogs wearing the Gucci stuff, I was like, I always wanted that. And then when I finally got a chance to get it, man, I went Gucci crazy, man. Like Gucci, I went to the store. Hey, Al, I'm like, what's up?
But we did make sure that we were financially responsible before
Yeah,
we did
we
that.
also paid, because we owned our own business, Stylist Hair Studios. We was,
Yes. Those were
paying
the
it back.
days.
Yeah, we were paying it back, paying
Yes.
the cards back, but make sure we don't pay it off because it's like once you pay it off, that's when they turn it up on you. They turn the APR up on you, and then they say, "Oh, you must got money," and then they cancel. It's like you don't need us no more. I'm like,
Well, your credit score goes down. When you
Yeah.
have a line of credit and you're not using it, then it goes down. So
No.
you think you're doing well. You're like, okay, I paid off all my bills, which is what we did. We never used the credit card for vacation just because we had the money.
Right.
So for us, our checking balance was great, and we had a savings. We had a luscious savings account. So the reason why the Citi card was a Gucci card is because we could afford it. It wasn't because we wanted to ball out. It was because, okay, we have really good income coming in. We have a plethora of savings. So now you can splurge a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, his Citi card was his Gucci card. Once a
Yeah.
month, he would go get something from Gucci, and then I would take 2 months to pay it off. So I would
Yeah.
pay half the first bill, and then right before I paid off the second half of the first purchase, he would go purchase something else.
Yeah, and
So-
don't get it twisted. I mean, I also went and bought some LV for my lady. went and bought some MCM stuff. You know, I didn't just go Gucci shopping. I went shopping for her too and get some stuff. So I don't want y'all to think that I was just selfish getting my own stuff. But you know, it was fun. You know, just to explore the realms of credit. And that's when I started to see my credit score going up. I said, wow, I didn't know that. So I started talking to other people about credit like I knew what the hell I was talking about. All I was doing was repeating. Yeah, I was just repeating what she said, you know, and sometimes I was off, but sometimes I was right. And I started to help other people, you know, a lot of my customers establish credit, and they would come and say, man, I just got a credit card, man, I did this. And I said, yeah, well, you know, just get you a little credit card. You know, go to Dunkin' Donuts. Don't spend over $50. You know, that's what I would tell them. Don't spend over $50 and just pay it back and just establish the credit, man. And you know, and it worked out for a lot of people, man. So you know, shout out to them people that listened to me and let me know that I was smart enough to give that advice to y'all.
Yeah, for sure. I wasn't saying nothing.
Yeah, she didn't say nothing, but like I said, I just heard her because she's like really the money expert on how to, because she had an 800 credit score at 17.
I had to lose it all, though. One thing that I will say that came out of the good thing out of handing my finances over to somebody who wasn't quite equipped to handle it is that when I took back control over my finances, it taught me a lot, though.
Yeah.
I was too stern with my finances. Like, I'm the type, if I have credit, I'm paying it all off.
Right.
If the bill is $200, I'm paying the $200. I don't like that. But it showed me to be a little bit looser. Like, you don't want to put yourself in a bind. You want to pay what you can and then be okay with the rest.
Right.
You can always make arrangements. I tell my students all the time who sign up for loans, listen, you are going to get this bill 6 months after you graduate. Do not throw the bill away. People, when you get a bill that you cannot afford, for the love of God, call the number at the bottom. You could tell any creditor, hey, this is my situation. I cannot pay this. Can we come up with some kind of term that I can pay? You could do that with any line of credit. A lot of people's credit go bad because they just don't deal with it.
Yeah,
they really don't. They see a bill that they can't pay, they freak out, and they're like, I'm done.
I remember the first time I tried credit, and this is way before I met her. I had went to Rent-A-Center. If y'all remember Rent-A-Center, they probably still got them around here. But I went to Rent-A-Center, and I got this big screen TV. I think at the time a 50-inch screen TV was
that was big. That
was
big
massive.
Time.
Yeah. So I went and got the TV, and they said that the TV was I think $2,000, and I was like, bet. So you know, I'm a barber. I'm cutting here. I'm paying it off. So I was like, bet this is my last payment, y'all. I went and gave them my last payment. Then they sent me a bill. They said, hey, you still got like 5 more payments. I said, oh wait, the TV was
only
$2,000.
Yeah.
They said, yeah, but you ain't look at the APR. I wound up paying $5,000 for that TV, which was only $2,000, which I could have just went to Circuit City or Best Buy and bought it. But I didn't. That's another thing. I didn't know about credit. I thought I was establishing my credit through Rent-A-Center with that. And I mean, it was a learning experience, you know?
Yeah.
So, and like I was like, what, 20?
Yeah.
I
mean, that's what financials are like. I mean, you say I started from a point of privilege, and I did, but I did not end up there. Like I started privileged. Life took me through a valley, but that's where you learn.
Yeah.
That is where you learn. You can make a mistake with finances. Everything is fixable. Alan and I have lived low. We have lived high. So I just want to get rid of the idea that you have to have it all together before you get married or before get into a relationship. I thought it was comical that here I am about to get married and a financial advisor told me and my fiance at the time, use credit. You got to use your credit. And so here we were breaking all of the societal rules to get married. We use credit for everything. For everything to get married. So I just want everybody to know that your story is uniquely yours and just pay attention to what happens to you. Pray about all things and follow what works for you. But finances is you got to spend it to earn credit. Do not ignore your creditors. Pay attention to APR and use it. That's the key to credit. Like, that's how you do it. Now, we have lived at the greater times where he had a Gucci card, and then we decided to chase our dreams. So we purchased assets that are a lot more valuable, and they require a lot more money to maintain.
Right.
So the Gucci card went bye-bye. Once you buy A large house, like, and we're not flexing by all means. I'm just saying that when you decide to go to a different level, things change. I mean, if you've been following us for a while, we used to travel like at least 5 times a
Yeah.
year. We have not traveled in a while because we're shifting. So you have to build a relationship that's strong enough to go through the lows and the highs. And finances can absolutely break your relationship. We
Yeah.
definitely hit some potholes, didn't we?
Yeah, we definitely hit some
So how do you
potholes.
say we got out of them?
I don't know, man. Number one is always pray to God, man. Make sure God is first in your life because He is the ultimate financer of your life. Okay, He is the ultimate financer. But when we got out of our piles, we just started to manage money more. I just stopped buying the Gucci because at the end of the day, for real, I'm gonna be honest with you, where I live at, man, I'm wearing Gucci, man. I just be playing myself a little bit, but.
That's so true. I forgot about
Yeah,
that too.
it's funny because when we first came here, we went to the swimming pool. We had flip flop, we had
Versace
Gucci
down
and all
to
this
the
stuff. These people had on Adidas flip flops. Some of them ain't have on shoes. So I'm up here like that was weird, and but at this point now you have to look at where your money's going. Where your money's going and what it's doing to work for you,
Right.
and how you're going to utilize all of that at the end of the day. So, you have to find assets. You have to find something to put your money in that's going to grow. That's going to grow
Investments.
overnight.
That's what
Exactly.
we would have done differently.
Right. But we was
Instead
living
of
in
a
the
Gucci
city.
card,
Yeah,
we
we was
would
living in
have
the
had
city.
an investment card.
Yeah, but now we out here in the suburbs where yoga pants is the high fashion from Walmart.
I don't know. They still wear expensive things from Lululemon. What is it,
Lululemon?
Lululemon or something? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they paying $100 for leggings. I'm cool.
Yeah,
But
they wear them
yeah.
every day. But
Facts.
yeah, but just talking about finances and having a partner
Yes.
with you to help you through the finances
Yes.
is always a plus because you can't go through it alone. Because if you with somebody and you trying to stack, y'all have to be on the same mental page to
Yeah.
stack that money to get into good finances, a financial situation and a lifestyle.
Yeah, and don't judge your partner. I mean, I feel like society teaches us to have all these standards. Like my man gotta have what
Yeah.
I hit the jackpot
chase the
on
bag.
is a hard worker. This right here is a hard worker. He is a boss. And yes, I may run the finances, but Alan gives me the trust and love to do that. And he also serves as a good listening ear. Like I'm not just holding it by myself.
Right.
I could talk it through to him. I do remember though, after we got over the first hurdle, like after we got married and we were bringing in like way more money, I could never get him to relax.
Right.
We would go on vacation and third day, no matter where we were, he would be like, "Hey, we gotta hurry up and get back. We gotta hurry up and get back." And I would be
Yeah.
like, "Why?"
Because I got to make some money.
And I'm saying, "No, we're good."
Yeah.
He's like, "No, we gotta pay the bills." I said, "Hey, the bills are already paid." That's one thing about me. You see me on a vacation, my bills are paid. I'm not going on nobody vacation with outstanding debt. I just can't do it. I can't relax.
Yeah, I'm always like, make sure we got like, let's say $1,000 in the account,
Yeah.
in the savings account, and if I put another 1,000 in the savings account, I'll be like, all right, bet. I think we need to put another 1,000
Yeah,
in.
he's never
I think we need to
satisfied.
put. Yeah, I start
Never.
to have panic attacks because I don't. I've been poor before. I've been there. Trust me, I've been there. My credit score was probably at 4 or something. That's how broke I was, and I've refused to allow myself to get back in that position again, man. So credit will help you get it. And credit helps. When you go to look for a car, they run your credit report because they'll look at you. They'll look at us and they come in and say, "Yeah, we need to run your credit report."
We
And
love
then
that
and then they come back and say, "Hey, we didn't think that you guys' credit would be this high." I'm like, "Yeah." So anyway, I want that car right there. Yeah, and I want that house. Yeah, and I want that right there. No money down because my credit said I can get it.
My credit said I can get it.
Yeah.
That's so true. But that's a
Yeah.
blessing, right? To go from
It's always a
your credit
blessing,
score
man.
wasn't 400, by the way. You were like 550. You were
Damn.
550. When I hit the rut, I was 650. So we went from 550 to you ended at 855 when we purchased the house, or you like at 833 or 8?
Yeah, right now I'm at 807.
Excuse me.
807, man.
And that's
Damn.
without the Gucci card because he's not using the Gucci card. So he's upset about being at 807. Here we are. Yeah, so the goal is you got to use it. Don't ignore your debtors.
Yeah.
And what'd you say? With the credit, you can get it?
With the credit, you can get it.
With good credit, you can get it. And financial literacy is not as hard as you think it is.
Yeah.
Google what you can. Don't be afraid to ask questions and research. Google what you can.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to ask questions. And don't forget that bill that is stressing you out, the answer is not to ignore it. Call the number and make your payment plan today.
Yeah. And let's dismiss the myth of, I'm gonna wait to get with her until, until I get financially stable. Man, financially stable is just a cop out. You can get with that person because you just never know. That person just might help you get financially stable.
Yeah.
It's like you want to get financially stable so you can flex like she already like you, bro.
Yeah. And women, let's not be so hard on the man. If you see that you have a strength, don't hold it over his head. Let's work together because he got a piece of the puzzle too that's going to make it come all the way through. The number one blessing that I feel, I think it's hard to say the number one blessing, but the blessing that I love about being with you is that you have single-handedly made me an entrepreneur. Like, I had the idea of it, but he will not let me live in corporate America. And now I'm so uncomfortable there.
Yes.
But it's him. Like, I love the fact that he's never worked for anybody else outside of like teenage jobs.
Yeah.
But for your entire adulthood, you've been your own boss.
Yeah.
That is freeing. The level of freedom of just believing in yourself and figuring out a way for your gifts and talents to serve you.
Yeah.
That's what type of time I'm on now.
Yeah.
So that's it for finances.
Yeah, and now this is another entrepreneurial extravaganza that we're venturing into is podcasting and doing a lot of other things behind the scene, and that's sure to come. I hope y'all stick around and watch the growth, man, because we appreciate everybody that sat in our chairs that we help with their finances and help with their relationships and everything. It's like we not the gurus of relationships, but man, we do pretty good, man, because we stood together and we love each other. So we do everything to help each other out when it comes to finances and help other people. So we aspire to inspire.
Always.
Yeah. So those were my last words. You got any last words?
No, I think we gave the people a lot of jewels today.
Right.
Don't run away from credit. Make the payment arrangements.
Yeah. Don't go wild on the credit card.
No, only, and I mean only, borrow what you can afford. Do not see that as extra income. Hello? Is there like an echo? No, but seriously, only borrow what you can afford so that you can pay it back. That's it.
Yeah, and don't burn the bank. Don't burn the bank. People, because back in the day, you get a credit card, like, they smell the smoke. That's what we used to say in my neighborhood. Like, he smelled the smoke. When you burn somebody, you get the credit card, you max it all out. I'm like, I ain't paying it back.
Oh.
You're messing up your credit.
Yeah, because how far can you go with that? You may have the latest things at that moment, but are we never buying homes? Are we always going to have a landlord? Like, what's the goal?
That's some people do that.
Yeah, and I can understand that. Survival really can put you in a different mind frame.
Yeah.
So I'm not judging that. It is hard. When you're in a point of survival, to think about things like financial literacy and how my choices are going to make a difference, that's tough. I do not take away from the position that I started in. I do realize that I started from a privileged point of view. I really understand that.
Privileged.
And when you are in a place of survival, it is hard.
Right.
But if you are coming out of survival and you are trying to make steps to be your own boss or to be more financially stable, follow the steps that we gave today. And we are breathing positive energy your way. That'll do it for me, babe.
See y'all later. This is it.
All right, guys. I'm Erica.
And I'm Al.
Bye.
It's Solace.